Hello, my name is Fynn, and you're tuned in to the podcast that amplifies your new favorite music. Today, we're joined by Chris Lanzon. How are you feeling?
Hey, really good. Thanks for having me.
No, well, thank you for joining the show and being our very first guest on Tuned In. Before we jump right into it, I just want to acknowledge the land on which we're recording, which is the Gadigal people of the ARIA Nation. Chris, you've just released your brand new, got it here.
Oh,
Your brand new record, your debut album, You're Missing the Best Part.
Yeah.
Towards the end of last year, how does it feel having that in the world? That's something I'm holding in my hands.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal even just seeing it now. It's like, oh, it exists. I feel like I made this album in a fairly short chunk of time, but I feel like it was like kind of like the last like 10 years of my life led up to this album. So I think, yeah, it feels really surreal and really special. I'm just like so happy that people can hear it and it exists.
Well, it is a brilliant album. It is genuinely one of my favorite albums to come out of last year.
Oh, thanks so much.
It's 10 tracks. It's a sonically beautiful album, thematically. Just a great record. Now, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the tracks on the album, how you made it, all of that. But before, let's do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
There's 3. Firstly, you're on a desert island.
Uh-huh.
You can only listen to 3 albums for the rest of your life.
Okay.
What are they?
First one that comes to mind is Bon Iver by Bon Iver.
Nice.
The 10-year anniversary edition specifically. Okay. That's a great record.
That's a good kind of workaround to get some extra tracks in there for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Wow, this is so hard. I'm going to say Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Is it Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band or Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club? The Beatles record.
Of course.
We all know it.
We know it.
It's brilliant. And oh my God. This is really, really hard. It's like a tie between the 1975's last record or Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. Oh, I'm gonna say Punisher.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a tie choice. Those two are like.
But now I'm thinking about that. Like a Big Thief record needs to be in there. Or Adrian's. There's too many, man. Sorry, this is rapid fire, and we're not going rapid.
And I want to be nice. I want to say you can have all the records, but it's not. I'm not putting you on an island. It's not on me. So, okay. Next rapid fire question. Number 2. What is your unpopular opinion about music?
My unpopular opinion about music, I think it's like. It's a more sacred thing than we treat it as culturally. Like I feel like it's like the effect that it can have on people feels so much more important than I think we like place it in our day-to-day level of like how we think about it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like that's how I feel about it.
Well, I don't think I've heard anyone kind of articulate it like that. So I'd say inherently it is unpopular. But no, I like that a lot. We will unpack that a bit when we're not in the rapid fire segment. Yeah. But final rapid fire question. How would you explain your sound in 3 words?
Warm, open, and intimate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like that a lot.
Cool.
All right. Well, your new album, You're Missing the Best Part, it debuted at number 38, is that correct? On the ARIA charts, which is, huge for a debut record. Now, how did you navigate, I guess, the cognitive dissonance of this being something that existed in your world with you and your band coming from your head to suddenly being something that's on a chart?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. It like made it feel real, which was really... It was like really nice to have it in a list like that, like if even if it gotten, I don't know, like the fact that it was in the top 100 of that week is like
top
crazy.
50.
Like top 50 even. Number 38, and I think I can't remember who exactly I was like next to, but it was just weird. It was like cool to see it and just really nice to have it like appear there and like be
for sure
like recognized and like validated. It's like, oh, people are listening to this, and it's like that's been acknowledged, and that's really awesome.
And that's the thing, right? It's not just a number, like you said. That comes from every single person that pre-saved the album, that bought the record, that invested, I guess, in what you're doing, which is, I imagine, would have been a super special feeling.
Yeah, really like wholesome and just rewarding. Like just all the support from friends, family, fans, like everybody who was just like, I really believe in this and I want to buy the record. That was the result. It was unreal. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, you described this record as intimate, or your sound is intimate.
Yeah.
And I think that really comes through on the album. As a listener, when I'm putting on this album, I feel like I'm sitting in the recording session.
Awesome.
I feel like I'm there. I can close my eyes. I imagine, everyone there. And it has that rawness that it's not super polished, but intentionally so. What was kind of the vision going into this album of how you wanted it to sound?
Yeah, it was like exactly that. So I'm super happy that you felt that way, that you were like there in the room with us. I wanted to make something that just felt like completely honest and completely like unfiltered, like just me not kind of trying to like polish myself or like censor myself or like anything like that. It was like, let's just like play the music and write. And even like that was like from the lyric writing process all the way through to the recording process. Like, let's just like be as truthful as possible here. So I think that translated into like, let's just like put mics in the room and play the songs with the band like as live as possible. And just, we didn't really do a lot of like comping like between multiple takes and like trying to like splice together the perfect thing. It was like, oh, let's just get a full take and like choose our favorite one and just run with that. So I wanted it to just feel really human and really real in that sense. I think like almost as an act of like rebellion against like where we're going as a society with like AI and all of that stuff, which is like a bigger conversation that is happening everywhere. But it's like, this was a little thing I could do where I could be like, let me intentionally not polish this too much, And
it really just takes it to this really personal level. And I feel like the whole album cycle, if you want to call it that, has been quite personal.
Yeah.
Beginning with that backyard show you did in Randwick, which was really special. I'm so grateful I got to be a part of that. Something was in the air that night. It just felt like everyone there was part of something a little bit bigger than themselves. So
awesome.
For context, you went around with how many people in your band?
I think there were 6 or 7. Oh my God, I just did 6, 7. Oh no. My brain is...
That's not getting cut.
That's not getting cut. But genuinely there were, hang on. I think. Yeah. It was really cool. I hadn't played with that many people either. Like, even in the recording process, the most we ever had at one time was like 3 or 4 of us. And then the others would like record separately or whatever. Right. So that was a really special show to like have us all there and
for sure
get to play the record live for the first time.
And you had all sorts of strings, like
strings, keys, backing vocals, guitars, drums, bass, all of it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was like a winter night, and we were sitting down on the grass, and it was a really it really encapsulated what I think the album feels. What was kind of the idea behind quite an untraditional show, backyard show to kick off this whole record?
Yeah, I think I was craving, and I still kind of am, like this like closeness to the people who care and like who want to be in that sort of space. Like, I think the traditional venue of a stage and an audience, there's like always this weird separation where the artist is, on this like elevated stage and the audience is kind of in the dark watching from afar, and there's like a separation there that can work really well for a certain kind of show. But I think for this album I just wanted to like strip that away and have it feel like we were all in a space together. So that's why it was like the band in the middle of this backyard with like everyone sort of sitting all around us, and it was like we were just right there in each other's faces, and I really loved how that felt. And it was a friend of mine offered her backyard, and it was great.
Nice. Awesome. Well, you did end up kind of, for the tour, they accompanied this album doing a more traditional stage audience show. However, it didn't really feel like there was much separation. So you played at the Metro. Congratulations, by the way. What a great way to kind of bring it all to life. How did you work to going from that backyard show? How did you work to kind of carry some of that magic over into that bigger stage? Yeah,
it was a tricky thing to do. I was like, what can I do that isn't like, I have a stage that I need to work with. Like I'm in a traditional venue that I can't change that.
Yeah.
One simple thing I did was like, I brought a fold out camping table with me and like put a tablecloth on it and got these like fake candles that looked really real. It was really good. And I just put that in the middle of the stage and then had all my friends in my band and we kind of played around that. So I feel like it was super subtle, but I think it made the stage feel a little more welcoming or a little more homely rather than like, oh, we're in a venue and this is a stage and this is a performance. It was like, oh no, we're here playing music together. And I hope that it felt good in the audience, that everyone kind of felt like a little bit more, like part of it rather than just watching it.
Exactly. Well, the crowd really actually showed up to the dinner party, totally. Which is a track we'll talk a bit about. Yeah. They brought the items in the song.
They did, actually. That was an incredible moment. And my friends on stage surprised me as well with confetti as like that was happening. That was like the total real time surprise for me.
No idea
I had no idea
you were going to get past Doritos on stage.
I was like, thought something had exploded on the stage. I was like, oh my God. And then suddenly there's like rainbow confetti everywhere. It was a really, really sweet moment. Like, it just felt like everything that this album was meant to be in a moment.
Well, I feel like what really kind of was demonstrated on stage that night was that you had complete buy-in from your fans who really got what that song was about. Did a Party, which is a track about having all your friends over, and we'll talk about it, but like they just completely embodied what that song makes you feel. And then you had your band kind of, surprise you with the confetti, and all just felt like this very physical manifestation of all the emotions that you put into, the album and that track. So I feel like that's almost a mark of success, isn't it? When people get...
Yeah, it's 100%. It's like no number or like, data point that you look at is like, oh, that's success. Like that moment was... like it made it all feel really worth it. And that was the day that the album came out as well. It just felt like the ultimate celebration of what we've made. Yeah. So yeah, it was really, really special.
Nice. Amazing. Well, let's talk about the tracks on the album. I keep teasing it. So I want to start with Glimmerin', which is track 1, which has this almost mystical quality to it. How did you want track 1 to kind of set the sonic tone for what the audience was about to hear?
I wanted it to kind of be the door into this feeling of like we're like in the room together and it's like super raw. So that track in particular, like it starts off, it's just me and a guitar, and the way we recorded it was like a vocal mic, a guitar mic, and then like a drummer sitting in front of me, my friend Gabe, with drum mics set up, and then we just literally like just played the song guitar and drums, which I'd never done before, and it was really like kind of scary because when you play with a drummer, it's like super loud, so it bleeds into the microphone. Like there's no room to like redo a vocal or anything like that. But I think what that did was like, as the first track as well, like it put us into that space of like, oh, we're playing like it's more raw. It's not a super polished album. So I really love that as the first track to kind of set the scene.
Yeah. Was it one of the first that you recorded?
It was early on. I don't think it was the first one, but it was early on. And I think it was probably the first time in the process that I was like singing and playing along with another musician.
Right.
Which was, really nice to do. And the song as well, I think like thematically is kind of about wanting to be more present and just like come into a moment. So yeah, I think it felt like the right track as track 1.
Nice. Yeah. And it transitions beautifully into Carrots, track 2. I mean, it feels like such a good transition, but I guess like it technically is quite jarring.
It is.
But it works so well.
Yeah.
Which was the lead single for the album. What I love about the song is at the end it has like what I'd call a bit of a crash out.
Yeah, totally.
And do you want to kind of talk a little bit to what that song's about and how you navigate kind of feelings of frustration that come through, but also how you depict that very eloquently, which is a bit of a line to walk.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was like I said earlier, like I wanted to be really unfiltered with my writing this time around. Like I think I've always written from a truthful place, but I wanted to like not censor it or like try and like make it pretty or make it relatable or whatever. It's like let me just talk about my actual feelings and my actual experience, and like if people relate to it, great. If they don't, that doesn't matter, because it's like it's what I have to say, and if I'm saying things that aren't mine to say, it's like it's not true, and I feel like people would feel that, you know. So this was like from a very real frustration, and I kind of just poured it all out into a song. Like it's kind of hard to, like, I guess walking that line of like trying to one thing I didn't want to do in writing Carrots was like cast blame.
Yep.
In my frustration, it was very much like my expectations of this person were too high and I was let down, and I'm annoyed that I was let down.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like this like reclaiming your own worth in a friendship or relationship where you feel like the other person doesn't care about you as much as you thought they did. And I think coming after Glimmer In, like it's interesting. They do flow like straight in, like it flows straight into Carrots, and it's in the same key as well. So that's why I think it worked really well. But like emotionally, they're like complete opposites. Yeah. And I really liked that too as like a starting place for the record, because I wanted the album to feel like a journey, and like the spiral symbol like keeps coming back. But I think that was a really important symbol to me for whatever reason. It just kept popping up, and I wanted the album to feel like this kind of spiral flow where we kind of like start maybe in a really nice place, but then we go down into this like heavier, frustrated, like emotional place, but we're able to then come back up again. And you kind of, it's like, I don't know, taking a dive underwater and kind of running out of air and then coming back up and you can breathe again. And just the feeling of that and how it gives you a new perspective. It's kind of what I wanted the album to do a little bit. Yeah.
No, it's so interesting that you do say that, because, and maybe this is like part of why this album has resonated so much with me, but like that's kind of like, I feel like we all have our own different coping mechanisms, but like kind of one of the ways I navigate my own anxieties is like I almost imagine like a spiral, because the thing about a spiral, like you said, is you can come back up and you're gonna fall, but you know it's recursive. It's a circle.
Yeah, it's a circle, and it's like it's a beautiful symbol too, because I think it's like you can kind of pass back around a place you've been before, but you're in a slightly new place as it's like kind of expanding. So I feel like you can, I don't know, I really resonate to like that experience as like with all of my emotions. I think.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Well, it's circular, but it's not cyclical.
Yes. Yeah. You're not going through the same thing necessarily. Like, exactly. You're kind of like, you're growing as you go.
For sure. You come back to a different place. I know. It's a great song, and that does bring us to Spiral. Which is my personal favorite track on the album.
Ah, sick. Thanks.
When I heard it the first time in the backyard show, I couldn't get the line, "You're missing the best part of the movie," which is the title of the album. So of course I want to talk a bit about that line, which just really encapsulates that feeling of someone just not getting it.
Yeah.
When you're trying to show, I mean, this is my interpretation. Feel free to kind of talk about what it means to you, but like, you're trying to let someone in and they just don't get it.
Exactly.
How did that line come about? You're missing the best part of the movie.
It honestly started as like a joke. Yeah. I was, that song was the first song I wrote for the album. I was on a trip away with Jerome, my friend, who ended up co-producing the whole record with me. We didn't even know that we were like writing a song for an album at that point. It was just, we just went on a little writing trip away like 2 or 3 years ago now. And Spiral came up, and we were just kind of like messing around. Like the original demo of that song is us just trying the stupidest stuff and like screaming into the microphone, just like having fun, which was like, ironically, I feel like one of the first times I'd ever actually like had fun with music. Not that I don't enjoy making music, but that I like let myself like totally not be serious about it. Like just play. At least in like a studio setting where I was actually recording something. Like I'd never really lent into that feeling. So there was like this energy to Spiral, and in the writing, like I think literally the night before we wrote it, we were watching a movie together, just me and Jerome. And he was like chatting and I was like really invested in the movie. And I just remember that like that feeling like of being kind of like, oh, I want to like watch this right now. And I think the next day that I just kind of like wrote that in as like a little joke. But then when we sang it and we started like repeating the "you're missing the best part" thing, it felt so much bigger than just that little moment of like a feeling I've definitely felt in like a lot of areas in my life of like not being like understood and not feeling seen and not feeling like you're it really stuck. And for the longest time it wasn't even going to be the title of the record or anything, but it just, like you were saying, I think as it stuck out to you, it kept sticking out to me, and a lot of people I was showing it to is like, there's something here that feels like a lot bigger than just that line. Yeah.
And I even love the next line that comes after that. God damn, this is my favorite. I love just like the kind of like defeatist tone there. Yeah. When you're putting together an album and you choose a specific lyric to represent the whole album, is there a bit of, fear there that maybe it's going to overemphasize one track over another? How do you kind of go about?
In this case, it wasn't like I had a different title for a long time while I was making the album. It was only, I think, like once everything was done, or maybe like sort of like quite late in the process of making the record, I think that this title like was like, oh yeah, that's what this album is. Yeah. And I think the reason it made sense, like I feel like I typically wouldn't pull a lyric from like one specific song, but the reason this made sense is that it felt like it applied to all of the songs.
It does.
In a way. Like I think there's like an angle for every song where You're Missing the Best Part kind of does tie in. So it felt like a really nice way to kind of package all of the songs together.
Yeah, let's talk about the next track. Well, not the next track on the album, but the next track I want to talk about, which is Rise and Fall. Do you want to talk a little bit about the instrumentation on that track? It's quite unique.
Yeah, it is. That's
the process
an interesting question.
Yeah.
I haven't been asked about this,
so
amazing.
That's
exciting. That was a pretty much a live take, I think. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was away with my friend Ollie and Demi. We were at it's like a house on a property in like regional Victoria, and they've got a little studio there. It's beautiful. And we went there like at the end of my Angel Litany EP tour in October of 2024. And at that point I was like, I'm making an album. So we were just like writing and stuff, and we had a really intense experience in Brisbane on tour, and we wanted to kind of like put that into a song. And so we just started like playing on guitar, both of us, both me and Ollie, like both on acoustic guitar, kind of playing the same thing, but like slight variations of it. And it made this really beautiful like bass for the song. So we were just like, let's just record that. And I sang, I think I had a microphone on me, and Ollie was sitting at a table like just next to me, and we just played it together with a microphone on each of the guitars. So it gave it this like really like nice wide quality because we were both playing a guitar, so you can kind of hear one on each side. And then there was a harmonium in the studio, which is like a wind organ. It's like there's like a pedal that you can like press down, and it blows air through the whole like thing, like almost like an accordion, but like really big. And it had like the most amazing sound because it was like it was breathing. So I just like pressed one note and like just like kept like making it kind of go in and out. And that is like in the background behind our guitars. And that's kind of all that is in there. I think that minus like, or plus some additional like vocals that I added. And Jerome did like a lot of like echo effects, but like that's it. We wanted to keep it really simple. But I think it really feels like its own world.
Yeah, it's super effective. Yeah. No, beautiful track. And one thing you do like that I love on this album is that there's a lot of empathy. Because you can be really introspective on this album. But this and also She, where you're telling someone else's story. Is it a very different experience putting yourself in someone else's shoes to write from that alternative perspective?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like it was still very much my perspective in a way, but it like transcended being about me or about like, yeah, it was like, let me tell a story that is something I've like witnessed or experienced or like seen happen, and it's not necessarily something I've been through, but it's still like my like lens on that thing. So in that way, it still felt really like true and really personal to say, but also really like open and like kind of bigger than me, which was really lovely. Like I actually really liked writing those two songs in particular. And it was a new way of writing that I hadn't really done before. And yeah, I think it just like opens things up to feel like it's not like a diary entry. It's not like, oh, we're in Chris's head. It's like, oh, here's a story, and you can kind of like put yourself in that story. And I hope people can like, yeah, get a whole lot of different things out of out of it, even though they're like quite specific stories as well. Like it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you travel so much, I guess, emotional space on this record. But like you said, by the end of the record, we do kind of come up to a higher place in the spiral with Dinner Party, which is a real triumphant way to kind of see out this album. There's in the bridge of the song, you kind of name drop a bunch of your friends. Was that an idea that came early in the process of writing that song?
I don't think so. I think the start of that idea was the "I feel so happy my friends around me" line. And
what a line.
Thanks. Yeah, I was writing with my girlfriend actually, and we've never written a song together before.
Nice.
Apart from like really silly songs when we're like in the car together and just like joking around. I showed her like a jam that I had done with Jerome and Gabe. We kind of like had the base of what Dinner Party is essentially, with no music, like no like melody or lyrics, just the music. And that idea of like, I feel so happy my friends around me, like, oh, cute, wouldn't like, so interesting if there was like a dinner party. And then we kind of like expanded off that and it was like, oh, well, who's coming to the dinner party? And then I thought it would be a really nice way to kind of like nod to all the people in my life who had kind of been part of this album in some way, whether they were like a musician on it or like a friend who's like kind of been there for me through the process to bounce ideas off or tell me I'm not insane. And it was kind of like, that would be really sweet if like they're all invited to the dinner party, you know? Yeah, it was a really sweet way, I think, to kind of very like in a really fun and silly way, like kind of just like acknowledge all the people in my life who I love and just celebrate that feeling of like, this is the only, like, this is all that matters, is like being with the people you love. And like, don't overthink everything and get stuck in your own head. It's kind of like me telling that to myself, like, you're missing the best part, man. Like, that's what this whole thing was, is like me trying to remind myself of that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it almost feels like, you know, that last track is answering that question. But with this album, are you trying to give an answer to what the best part is?
I'm trying, like I said, I think with the spiral thing, it's like, maybe we never know or get to that like ideal place of like really knowing, but like we can get a little bit closer each time we sort of come back around. And I think for me, it was answered with Dinner Party in the sense of like, stop taking everything so seriously and just enjoy the moment and enjoy the people who are around you and like try to do more of that, because that is the best part. So really, I'm just trying to like drill that into myself so that I do that more. And I hope that that message can carry through to everyone who listens as well.
This album took you overseas to the US. Yes. You've quite recently gone back from the US tour. Where did you go? What were some of the cities that you hit up?
We went to Chicago was the first stop. I hesitated there because I went to LA first, but I didn't actually play in LA first. It was Chicago, Toronto, Brooklyn, Austin, San Francisco, and LA. So a really nice kind of like cut across the States and back. It was and Canada. But yeah, it was really, really special.
How is the experience of playing to an American crowd different to an Australian one?
Yeah, it was surreal because I've never been there to play a show and to go and just like blindly put on my own shows. Like I'm not like opening up for another artist. It's like, these are just people who want to see me. I had no idea if anyone was even going to turn up, but it was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Like, the Spotify numbers say that there are some people over there. So like, let's see what happens. And it was so warm. Like everybody, I don't think I've had that many people like singing every lyric to every song. Like,
wow.
I feel like they were really like intimate crowds, but they all cared so much. So that was really, really like a really rewarding experience. Just like, I feel really lucky to be able to do that, to just like go to another country and there are people there who want to hear my songs.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And I mean, do you feel like that the audiences received the show a little bit differently? Because I imagine like if you're an American crowd and you've got an Australian singer coming all the way to play for you, I mean, there's almost an element of, well, I don't know when this is going to happen next, when I will get to see Chris again. So
yeah, maybe that's like, yeah, there was like it felt, yeah, that like feeling of like everyone was so present. And maybe that is because it's like, oh, I've never been here and I'm probably not going to be back for a while. So this feeling of like, oh, this is our only chance.
Yeah.
Maybe that heightened that a little bit. I
Maybe
definitely felt that, like, people were they really felt like they cared a lot. Which is not to say that the Australian crowds don't feel that way, but it was like every person in the room was like that, which was, pretty crazy. It was really nice.
Nice. Do you feel like there was a single moment when you're in the States that kind of was that you really got hit with the culture shock of being a performer?
LA was interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it was probably the most vibrant crowd, like the biggest turnout, and everyone was really kind of buzzy. Like there was a really nice feeling in the room, but it was also like very LA. Like at the end of the show, like I got to meet a bunch of people that came. And it was really lovely. It was like there were a few people that were like almost like interviewing me.
Oh wow.
And being like, why aren't you like living out here? And like you should be like I don't know. It was like a very LA. It just felt very like networky or something, where I'm like, wait, are you guys here because you like the music, or are you like trying to like do a business deal or something right now?
Maybe both.
Maybe both. It was funny. And I haven't really experienced that at home before. So that was like probably the most like culture shock thing with like just, I feel like there's like a scene in LA that's just a bit more like hustle. So that was like interesting to experience in like a fan setting. I feel like it was like, oh, it didn't feel like, I didn't expect it. But then on like the flip side, like the show I played in Toronto was probably like the sweetest show I've ever played. Because the venue canceled like 4 days before.
Oh no.
We were like, I was literally, everything was booked. I was in Chicago already. And we didn't sell enough tickets for the promoter at the venue that we had booked. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a risk though. Like, we'd sold a decent, like for me never being in Toronto before, I was like so stoked that this amount of people were going to come. But they were like, sorry, we can't make it work. And I'm like, okay. But then from that point of like complete, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? We got a venue because I just kind of posted on my Instagram. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Toronto. Like, is there anywhere I can play? Really want to do this. And we pulled something together and like everyone turned up, and it was such a beautiful night. And I guess probably again, like that feeling of like, oh, we might not get this again. There was like a real, like, it felt like everyone was really invested and like really wanted to make it happen. And to be on the other side of the world and feel like that, like, I don't know, just have people show up in that way was really, really nice.
And like, to think that, could have not happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
That's amazing.
And I was like, well, I'm just going to go. And if there's no show to play, there's no show to play. I'll just like enjoy a couple days in a new place, I guess. But
worst case scenario.
Yeah. It worked out.
Well, we are coming to the end of the interview. So I'm going to ask you to contribute 2 songs to our brand new Tuned In playlist, one that is your own and one that's from an Australian artist. What are you picking?
Okay. I'm gonna go with Dinner Party.
Nice.
For the playlist. I think that's just like a fun one that represents the album. I'm trying to think of my favorite like Australian song right now. There's so many, and I just did my Hottest 100 vote like a week ago with like all Australian artists. I think the first one that comes to mind is Strobe by Armlock.
Awesome.
It's a really fun song.
Great.
So yeah, but there's so much good Australian music.
Oh, so much.
I'm excited to listen to the playlist because I'm sure there'll be good stuff.
Hopefully it'll just build. And there's so much great Australian music. We're recording this with the Hottest 100 countdown tomorrow. Have you received many people kind of telling you they voted for one of your songs?
Yeah, this was my first year that I was like in the list of eligible songs for nomination. Like usually I'm like, oh, if you guys want to, you can like manually add it.
Yeah, so you're in the like actual shortlist.
Yeah, I was in the actual shortlist. Spiral got in, so that was really, really cool. I feel like, just to again like that feeling of like being acknowledged by like a list that it just feels really, really cool.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I was stoked. I don't know if we'll get in or not in the countdown, but
fingers crossed.
I did have a bunch of people like messaging me and posting on their stories and stuff that they voted. So it was. Yeah, it feels really sweet. It's just nice to be in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to, there's so much incredible music in Australia. Yeah. So much great music coming out of Sydney. So,
absolutely.
Just for people to be recognizing it and to be enjoying it is the best part, dare I say. Now, you've had a huge year between putting out this album that you said was really like 10 years in the making.
Yeah, it felt like.
And touring Australia, touring the United States. you know, going into 2026, what does that kind of look like for you?
Yeah, I think I want to really keep going with music, but find a way to do it in a really like sustainable way. I think like when you, like I said, putting the work into this album that felt like 10 years of my life culminating, I'm like, I don't want to do that again in terms of like that much energy into like one singular project.
For sure. And we don't want to wait until 2035.
Exactly.
For CL2.
So I want to like, but I love writing and I think one thing that I've always done is like, I have this like part of my brain that's like, anytime I write a song, I need to make sure I know where it fits. I'm like, oh, that'll fit in this project. And if it doesn't, it kind of just like disappears. So I think I want to like break away from that thinking and just kind of like write a song that I like. And if it feels good and I like it, I can just put it out. I don't have to go, oh no, I got to wait until the perfect album that this song will fit on. So I just want to like be a bit more like just enjoying it and just like having fun with it and like putting things out when I feel good about them. And keep playing more shows, because that's been a really, really, like, it's interesting saying that, because I feel like a couple of years ago playing shows was something that I was like terrified of doing.
Right.
And I like would get so anxious and kind of try and avoid it as much as I could. But now I think I've sort of really grown out of that and I want to just do more.
Well, in the meantime, You're Missing the Best Part is out now. Please do give it a listen. That's like my personal plea. It's such a good album.
Thanks, man. I'm so glad you like it.
No, it's amazing. Thank you for putting it out.
Yeah, stay tuned. There'll be more on the way.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the show. You've been amazing and you've been tuned in.
Thanks for having me. Hell yeah.